big, sort of fairly London-based dating website, that it would be so, you know, commonplace.
So the book is quite, raunchy might be a pejorative word to use, but it is full of sex and stories of sexual conquest, if you want to call it that. So were you out for a good time in that regard? Was it about having lots of sex, or was it about finding the ideal man? It sounded, because it feels that as though you were just out to maybe get things off your chest you didn't do in your 20s and beyond.
There was part of it was that, yeah. I wasn't really looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, having had 2 long-term failed relationships behind me, I was probably a little bit cynical as to whether there was going to be like a third time lucky, some wonderful man out there,
so a bit of fun,
fall in
really.
love. So it was it was about, look, I'm not going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to sit at home every night watching telly on my own or whatever. I'm, you know, let's let the good times roll.
And indeed they rolled, because as you've outlined in the book, there's quite a number. Let's focus in on 1 or 2. Obviously, for a lot of people, the big interest would be the youngest man you had was, I think, 19. Is that right?
No, he actually was the day after his 20th birthday.
Oh, that changes everything, of course. So 20, that's fine.
Okay, I know it sounds so scandalous, but the really strange thing is that even though there was like 40 years difference, it didn't actually enter into the equation. In a very strange way, it actually wasn't a factor. I mean,
was it odd for you?
No.
No, was it odd for him?
Didn't seem to be.
No, and how was the sex?
Great.
You were happy?
Yeah, I was happy.
Was it a one night stand, or did you see each other a few times?
No, this is a person who, well, what happened was we did want to keep meeting up again, but it hadn't, you know, it just wasn't possible.
Okay.
And then he moved away.
Tell me about the character. You put names on them, obviously, pseudonyms, just to protect their identity, to say the least. There was a guy you called Jock. I think he was the Scot, was he?
The Scottish guy, yes. He was I kind of thought of him as a Neanderthal type of person, because he was very crude. He was all but sort of drag you into his cave by your hair, that kind, you know. You know, it's like jump on top of you like all night long. So that was not good.
It's a stuff of dreams for some women, obviously, but for you, not so much. So that was a one night.
Yeah, because you know, you want someone that you feel you've got some kind of a little bit more of an emotional connection with. And
who was Pup?
Pup, yeah, he was a young guy, obviously. And he was the one with whom I really developed more of a good bond. Okay. I mean, a real friendship. And we saw each other throughout pretty much this whole year of dating dangerously, and became very close. I mean, we weren't an item, obviously. It wasn't that kind of a relationship, but there was a lot more going on than just a kind of physical intimacy.
Sure. And how old was Pup?
23.
23. Were your sons aware of this as you were doing this year?
I mean, you don't talk to your kids about that sort of thing.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No, so it was strictly a sort of need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they knew that I was doing online dating. Occasionally, when we were all together, you know, sitting around the lunch table or something, I might, you know, they'd say, "So, Mom, how's the dating going?" I mean, I might say, "Oh, good, you know."
Yeah, but you weren't getting into the level of intimacy that you were happy to do later after the event. Which is what we're doing. So you weren't telling them the stuff that you're telling us now.
No, I mean, my only confidant was, interestingly enough, my daughter-in-law, my older married son's wife, who's very much like a friend to me. And we would have regular girly catch-ups, and she'd always want to know what was, you know, my latest dating escapades were about. And she was, the confidant.
How did it feel to get attention from men up to maybe 40 years younger than you? Was it ego? Was it flattery? Was it
flattering? Of course it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, because you know, I'd gone from someone who actually thought no one's going to be interested in me. Why would they be interested in me at my age? There are all these young women out there, and to a person who, well, actually, you know, quite a lot of people seem to be interested in me. And hey, isn't that great? So yeah.
Obviously, in the dating game, you're going to meet, if for every 10 guys, let's say, you meet one who's a little bit peculiar, and you outline his story. You call him Max. Well, I said peculiar. What happened with him?
Yeah, okay, Max was the one kind of like weirdo, because, you know, there has to be one weirdo.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah, there has to be. It's mandatory, practically.
I think, yeah.
But anyway, so he was about 28 or 29, and he was quite a hot-looking guy, you know, tall and with like a hot, spiky hair. You know, he was cool. And we met in my local pub, and it's a little bit eccentric, but it was okay, and it went quite well. And Anyway, so we went back to my place, and then I realized that he actually was a bit too